right, thank you for joining me today. I have with me Eddie Teague, and got a few questions for him.
I'm ready.
How you doing today, Eddie?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I'm doing the best I've ever did.
Well, I want to talk to you about some things. It's a pretty serious conversation. A lot of people feel hopeless, and I know that you have felt that way yourself at a point in your life.
Yes, sir.
And let's to set that up. Let's talk about your life before Jesus.
Before Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I was a drug addict. I sold drugs to support my habit, and I absolutely did not live for the Lord. Looking back, it's amazing that I'm even here. And there's been some incidences in my life that where I shouldn't have been. And yep. So,
At that time in your life, what was your thought pattern like? What kind of things did you?
my thought pattern, and that was in 1995. That's a long time ago. And was 1995. I was living in Ohio at the time, and I was living up there, working, not living for the Lord, doing drugs up there, and me and the lady that I was living with, me and her were at our wits' end. We were on our way, separate ways. She was trying to quit, and I didn't have any quit in me. And we were arguing one night, and I had a .38 pistol, and I stepped inside of a closet. We were in there arguing. I stepped inside of a closet, took the gun, and I contemplated just killing myself. And so I fired the gun inside of that room, inside that closet. And I'll stop right there and tell you that my mother and my daddy, they made sure that I went to church. And when I fired that gun, I thought to myself, that is not what I want to hear the rest of my eternity. Because I was raised to where you either were going to go one place or the other. And I've always known, even back then when I did try that suicide was a no coming back from. And when I come out of that closet with the training that my mother and dad had put in me, I knew that that was a point that I did not want to go. Now, did I straighten up? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I didn't straighten up until 2014 or 2014 when I got out of prison from various times of being in prison. I was hopeless. I don't know why I didn't turn to the Lord then, because I wasn't. I'll tell you the reason why. Because I wasn't ready. I was not ready. Even that point of suicide, that I had enough training and enough knowledge to know that once I did that, it was over. And it shook me It didn't shake me enough to give God everything, but it did shake me enough to let me know that there's always a way. God's always gonna make a way out. You just have to trust Him. Yep.
And you mentioned you had a drug habit. You mentioned it was you sold drugs to pay for that habit. Do you mind telling about what kind of drug habit you had?
Yes. No, I don't mind at all. Methamphetamine. That was my drug of choice. Cocaine wouldn't last long enough. Marijuana, I hated it. It went the wrong direction for me. I wasn't one of those, I didn't want to be down, and I wanted to be up. And I've often said that being on methamphetamine was the closest thing you can get to feeling God, but the furthest thing from it. Because you're nowhere near Him when you're in that. When you're high. But it's if you've ever felt God and you've ever shot methamphetamine, they're similar, but they're so far apart. There's two different lords there, and you're either worshiping the devil or you're worshiping the Lord.
When you stepped into that closet with that pistol in your hand, what kind of thoughts, as you stepped in, what kind of thoughts were running through your head?
I was angry and just hopeless. I mean, but now I was hopeless in a different way. I was hopeless because the young lady that I thought I was going to live with had decided to take the world that we had, and she shut hers down, and I didn't know how to take that. She was ready to quit. I wasn't, and that threw me into a whirlwind, because when you're in that world, that person that you're doing that with and you're with there all the time, that's who you focus on. You don't focus on God. God's not in that equation. That was my mindset. I went in there, I was angry at her, and I thought, you know what? I'll just do this and might be done with it. And like I said, when I pulled that trigger, everything that I'd all them times that I'd sat in church and listened, it all came right there and said, hey, that's not the way you go. God was in that moment when I was at my lowest. God was in that moment, because He brought all that back to me. I know it wasn't the devil that brought it back. I mean, He had me.
So your mind at that moment, as you were walking in, your mind was made up.
Yep, made up to go. Yep.
Yeah. Was that a snap decision, or was it something you?
It was gradual into just the life we were living, the life she was trying to get out of, the life I kept on trying to get in, and it just built up to the time she said, "We've had enough. I've had enough," and I wasn't prepared for that.
So you kind of already answered my next question, which was what happened to change your mind.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And it was the mercy of God.
It was the mercy of God.
Bringing to memory.
No doubt. Memory. Yep.
Things that you learned.
It was like, look, you can't do that.
So was it at that moment that you realized that you did have hope?
Yes. Yeah. Well, like I said, you come back to that training, and you know, like I said, the devil didn't tell me, hey, you remember when you were sitting in church and they were talking about that, or he didn't do that. He wasn't there to do that. He was there to sit and watch me go to hell with him, and that's what he was there for.
You mentioned that you didn't change your ways after that immediately. It was
No.
several years.
Several years, several trips to the penitentiary.
You continued your drug habit.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
did the suicidal thoughts ever come back?
Nope, not on,
That
not,
was-
not with, I mean, not, down, yeah, but not like it was that time. I've had some thoughts where, it'd be easier if you was just gone, or it would be so much easier. Yeah.
But you never got to the point of acting on it
No,
again.
no. One of the most times one of the times that I did think about it, there wasn't nothing you could do about it because I was in prison and I'd just gotten sentenced, and I was going to prison I'd just gotten sentenced for 10 years, 2 5-year consecutive sentences, and I was thinking, I can't do this. I can't do this. And but what am I going to do? There's nothing. They take everything from you. After that incident up in Ohio, that was, and like I said, you think about those things even when you get high and you don't have anything else, and you're coming down, and or you get in a situation where it's not healthy. I mean, those thoughts come there, but that was the one time that I was like, yeah, if I do this now, I don't have to worry about anything else here on earth.
Right.
So, yeah, there's been thoughts of that before, but not to the point that I wanted to take a gun and shoot myself with it.
It absolutely the mercy of God bringing all that back to you.
Yep.
It,
Yes.
he shows up right at the right
Right
time.
at the right time, yeah.
Let's move forward.
Okay.
You were in prison, was it 3 times?
3 times, yes.
Okay.
I did about 3 years in the whole time frame of me in trouble, and that's prison time, not county and all that. But yeah, about 3 years, a little over, right there somewhere.
I have known you all my life.
Yep.
And I know the difference between now,
Yes.
the Eddie Teague sitting here,
Mm-hmm.
and the Eddie Teague that was in Ohio.
That's right. Yeah.
I've
Me too.
seen the difference.
Yes. Yep.
Tell me about what happened to really just make your mind up that I do not want this life anymore. And instead of turning to the suicide, it was, I'm going to turn to the Lord. Tell me.
Lord. I'll tell you, a praying church, a praying mother, and people that absolutely really did care about you enough. I say it all the time. Kevin Carpenter hounded me about going to church, about going to men's conference. He was relentless. And if you don't have a Kevin Carpenter in your life when you're down, you need to find somebody and that will just absolutely not give up on you. Now I know my mom and dad prayed and all that. Kevin would search me out to help me. He would, and he was not letting go of it. And that's some of the reason that I'm here. He was the one that come and sat on my porch and knocked on the door, and I was high. I was looking through the deal, and he's like, "Come on, we're gonna go to men's conference. I'll be back through here to you up at a certain time." And never did give up on me. He probably was mad at me a lot, but he didn't give up on me. And you that helps you more than, because your family can tell you, they can task you to do stuff like that, but a lot of times us that are high or feeling bad or feeling hopeless. We don't want to hear that from our family, because it's you can get real judgmental real quick about that. Not the family, us people who are we flare up about it because, hey, buddy, she knows if I want to go to church, I'll go to church. You know what I mean? Because I was raised in church, and so your family, you can be at odds with them when somebody like Brother Kevin can come in and say, look, we're going, and you don't fight that near as bad as you do your family telling you need to get straight. And they're right. There's no doubt about it. If I'd have listened to my mother, I probably wouldn't have done but the first round of prison. And that's probably and turned my life to the Lord.
Since you turned to the Lord, how has life changed?
Ooh. Well, for one thing, He refilled me with the Holy Ghost. He gave me a pastor and a church that will not let me just sit on the bench. Brother Sanders is not. Look, I'm scared to death to be up on the platform. I don't think I belong up there. First thing, I don't think I'm worthy to be up there. But He doesn't push me. He just says, "Hey, I need you to do it someday." And I've been doing them for I don't know how long, a couple of years, probably, or a little more, maybe. And I don't know if it'll get any better, and I don't know if it'll get any worse. But they keep me. This church keeps me busy and keeps me loving. Man, I love the children here. I love doing what I did to do, and I don't know. It just I don't worry about the law can fly by me, and I'm like, the light's bothering me. I don't look around try to see if they're following me, or I pass on that. I've got God has gave me a. Now there's probably still some people that don't care for me. You can't please everyone. But God has gave me a reputation, not because I've never did have a good one. And that now in the world I lived in, yeah, I did. But as far as the community, I didn't have. I'm friends with sheriffs, ex-mayors. I mean, the ones at Middle Springs, ex-mayors down there. I consider them my friends. I talk to them. I can talk to them. I don't have to run from them, or they don't run from me when they see me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. God's given me that back, and He gave me an opportunity to raise 2 children that needed a dad, and have a wonderful wife. If you know me, you wonder why she puts up with me, but she does, and she takes care of me. She's committed to the Lord, and that's the most important thing, is she's committed to the Lord. And but he absolutely has changed my life. I went to prison in 2000. I got busted in 2012, August. I think it was 19th of August. And I came out of prison January of 14. And I had done some rehab, 6 months of rehab. And I always told myself, if I ever do rehab, I'm quitting. I'd always said, I made this statement, rehab's quitters. So if I'm gonna go to rehab, I'm gonna have to quit. But I didn't know the Lord was gonna put me through rehab the way that, he helped me. I put myself there. I'm all to blame for that. But he worked it to where the rehab that I went through, I could work. I had the freedom of my truck. Came and went as I pleased. I helped run the ranch. All those things he worked out because eventually he knew I would be here helping in the church. And I think that formed me, got me ready for being over the Sunday school department and offering. And offering thing is a big deal because, you're handling money. You have to be trusted to handle money.
Right.
And my pastor trusts me. I think the people in this church trust me.
Well, you mentioned having a different reputation.
Yep.
And talking about trust. You went from someone that nobody would trust.
Nobody would trust. No.
To someone that anybody can trust.
That's right.
It's such a major difference. And I want to say this. Something you said, one word you said. I want to look at that. You said God refilled you with the Holy Ghost.
Yep, that's right.
So you had received the Holy Ghost,
Yep.
but stepped out of living for God and back into the world of drugs.
2004 is when I got the Holy Ghost. That's the time Brother Kevin said, we're going, I want you to go with me. And he loaded me up and we went. And I got the Holy Ghost. And, I went back. I'd already been to prison. And I went and had run around with some people I shouldn't have been. And that was the second time I went to prison. And then 2004, when I went and got the Holy Ghost, I came home and there was an incident, and but I was told that you probably need to go to Texas and move out from this area. So I went to Texas, started going to church out there with my sister, brother. Was doing really good. Got a job at Walmart and became an assistant manager out there, and got away from the church and got back into drugs. In 2010, I came back here and fell right back in with the people that I was with way back in 94, 95 at that time, from Nashville, 91 in that area. Got back right in with him, and in 2 years I was gone back to prison. I stayed out there 13 years. I think it was, somewhere around that. And about 8 or 9, 10. But yes, he did that.
But God doesn't give up.
Nope, doesn't give up.
He didn't give up on you.
No, he didn't.
You were a prodigal son.
Yep.
And
That's
God
right.
brought you back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What would you say to someone who maybe they feel the hopelessness that you felt in Ohio, or maybe they're considering suicide, or maybe they're considering walking away from God, any of that? What would you say to them right now?
First thing you need to do is start to pray. What you need to pray for is someone that God will send to you to help you start from where you're at and start guiding you. What you need at the time, what I needed at the time, was to turn to God. Pray for somebody to come that will come, and they will if you're looking, if you're seeking, God will. But if you're not seeking for it, and you're still being in hopelessness, you're not going to get any help unless you are seeking Him. And the devil is just waiting for you not to seek Him. And but you have to turn to the Lord. And you may be out there and you may not even believe in God. But try praying for Him and waiting on Him. And God will show up at the right time. He'll send somebody the right time, the right way. And that's what I would tell you, is to find a church, find somebody that's connected. And you can, if you look hard enough and you search hard enough and you pray, God will put people in your path. I know that for a fact. And something else I'd like to say about that is when you do come through that, you have to share that with other people, because there's other people out there that that may not get to hear this. And if you get to hear this and you can pass it on to someone else, that's how you win people to the Lord. That's how the Lord wins people. They hear it. Lord, when they hear it, they talk to someone, and the Lord starts working on them. And you have to work on yourself. You don't have to be hopeless. There is, and it's took me a long time. Like I said, when I came out of prison in 2014, it took me a little while to get back in the rhythm of going to church. And it's 2025 now, and I've had the best years of my life since I walked out and made up my mind to live for the Lord. And it can be a great thing.
So no matter where you find yourself today, no matter how deep in the pit you feel like you are, there's hope for you.
There is hope.
This man right here is proof that there is hope.
Yep.
So, Eddie, thank you again. I appreciate you taking your time and talking with us.
And he mentioned something a while ago. He has seen me in some rough times. Brother Jonathan has been around me a long time. And he's seen me go through some things. And, seen me go through a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to see where God's brought you is amazing.
Yes, yeah, that's the best part. Yeah. There is hope in Jesus. Yep, you just got to work for it. You got to work.